So today let's talk about this triangle, which I think is very important, and it also appears in some of my paintings. So what is this triangle? How can we use it for the benefits of others? And how can we make use of it in our personal lives as well? Well, I will be talking about it from the perspective of worker of light. If you think that you are here to serve other people, if you think that you are here to bring the world into a higher level of consciousness and awareness, if you think that you are here to create a more peaceful world, then it can be beneficial for you to understand this triangle. So this is the triangle of conscious evolution. This is the top, and the bottom, well, it goes infinitely. I just couldn't draw, this entire triangle, but in order to understand this big triangle, we have to take a look at its individual parts. And the individual parts of this triangle are other triangles. So this is the individual triangle, and as you see, it has two sides. One of the side is positive charge, the other side is negative charge, and in the middle you have balance, you have zero. As we already know, in universe everything is balanced throughout space and time. Every action has a reaction, every force has anti-force. This is the pendulum that swings to one side or the other side. So as you see, the force starts from here, it goes into one charge, then there is anti-force that is pulling this force to zero. And this anti-force, it also pulls it to the other side, to the negative charge, and then it comes back to zero. And it goes as many times as it needs. So this is the universal pendulum. I call this triangle as transcendence of paradox. What does it mean for us as regular humans? Let me illustrate this with a story. For some time in my past, I was working in a warehouse. It's kind of a factory environment. And I got to see some really interesting people. So for example, from one of my colleagues, I would take a screwdriver when he's not, in there. And, after some time, he notices that and he rushes to me and he's shouting at me like, why did you take my screwdriver? It's not yours. Give it back, you are the bad guy, you are the evil. Like, how can you behave like it? So this guy is now charged on the negative side. And then, 30 minutes later, well, he goes to smoke, he drinks some coffee, and he's on the other side already, He thinks that life is beautiful, Let's dance, let's have some fun. And then, he's getting hungry, and perhaps his boss, he told him he brought him some more work, and he's already on the negative side, Like, I'm angry, I hate this job, and I want to eat, and then he goes on a lunch break, he eats something, he drinks some Red Bull, he smokes again, and he's happy again. Then he goes back to home, and he goes to sleep, and in the morning he's already on the negative side again, because I hate my life, I have to smoke, I have to drink some coffee, to bring myself to the other side. And you see, so these kind of people, they have so many swingings, from one side to the other. It's like he's always like this, he's never calm, he's never at balance. And you are at the balance, you are calm, when your frequencies are highest, when you are at the top of this triangle. So then when you reach the top, you have transcended this paradox. You stopped judging. How do you transcend this paradox? Okay, so when I took his screwdriver, he was here, he was charged negatively. Well, he could have asked himself, what was the positive side of me taking his screwdriver? And the truth is that the positive side is that it helped me to do my work. And if it helped me to do my work, then we are better as a team. We are serving this factory better. We are serving the world better. And perhaps our reward will be better as well, if we collaborate together. So he was seeing just one side of the coin, but he could have seen the other side of the coin as well if he wanted. And when he does that, he goes from here to here, and then he comes back to zero. Okay, I have transcended this judgment already, I am here in zero, I'm in balance. But then, again, perhaps the next day he does the same mistake again, but he's already going higher and his swings are not as harsh as they were before. He doesn't get that angry, the next time. And then he goes, up, 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 until he finally transcends this judgment of somebody taking his things, because now he's seeing the other side. Why we are here on this planet? We are here to transcend our triangles. We have so many triangles to transcend as souls, it takes many lifetimes to transcend all of those triangles, which we have seen in this master triangle of conscious evolution. So now you understand that this triangle consists of many smaller triangles, many individual triangles, many transcendences of paradoxes happening. And when you transcend all of your paradoxes, you reach the top. And at the top, we have God, we have soul, we have anima mundi, where there is no judgment, there is just unconditional love. As you see, this scale is love. The higher you go, the more loving you are. So how can we use this triangle for the benefit of others? That's a great question. We as workers of light, we cannot take a stance. We cannot fight. What is the problem in here? So when you meet this guy who is judging you for taking your screwdriver, you cannot simply argue with him. You cannot tell him like, oh my gosh, you are so stupid, why are you shouting at me? I'm a good man, I'm not a stealer, I'm not a thief. Well, you should be valuing me more, in this environment, I'm a good team member. So if you take this stance, then what happens? We are simply having a fight of words, and we are not ascending the triangle of consciousness evolution. Instead, the better way is to ask questions. So when you meet this guy who is so charged on you for taking his screwdriver, instead you can ask him a question. What do you think are the positive sides of me taking your screwdriver? Because you see, he is in the half-truth, and here is the other half-truth. If you take a stance yourself, you are doing no good for yourself and you are doing no good for the other person. So transcendence is seeing both sides of the coin. If we ask a question instead, we help this person to go higher towards the transcendence of this paradox. We as workers of light, we are not here to take stances, on one side or the other, because then we are just part of this swinging, If you want to master your life, you have to strive towards reaching the top. And when you do that, you are also helping other people. Because seeing the truth, seeing both sides, that's the key to being in balance. And of course, this triangle, this paradox was quite easy, but people, they have even harder triangles to overcome, like perhaps they are victims of car accidents, maybe they are victims of rape, maybe their relatives were killed, and people, they carry these judgments that, this is the bad guy, that why did he do this to me, People carry those judgments throughout their lives, and they never ascend on this triangle of transcendence. I think that's the most important mission that we have as workers of light. And actually, it's not only about serving other people directly, by explaining them this triangle or asking questions. If you simply utilize this in your own life, if you develop this habit of always asking, what's the other side, which I'm not seeing yet. By the way, this is the scale of wisdom, the sooner you see the other side of the coin, the more wisdom you have. So if we use it just for ourselves, imagine, we are ascending the scales of love, we are spreading more and more love, from ourselves into the world. And in that way, people are noticing that. You cannot win over love, you cannot fight with love, you cannot put tanks and destroy love. That's just impossible. Love is the only way, that how we can actually change the world, if we want to change it. So it's not the way of discussing something, it's not the way of proving your own truth to somebody else, because each truth, as Kabbalion said, each truth is but half truth. The actual truth, the actuality is both, is always both, is seeing the both sides of the coin. So if we love more, if we judge less, we are already changing this world, in our everyday interactions with other humans. And in that way, we don't need to do anything else, we don't need to go into politics, because, in politics, you are spreading your own truth. You're installing your own principle, and that's worthless. That is just taking a stance on the other side of the triangle. Love is the real answer. The more people transcend their paradoxes, the more people go higher in this triangle of conscious evolution. The less of the bullshit, the less of the nonsense we need in this world, the less governments we need, the less force we need, to control somebody. The more happy we are, the more balanced we are, the more calm we are. And what happens from calmness and tranquility? Creativity is born. All of the creation that we see around us, the nature, the planet, the universe, it was created from tranquility, from calmness. There was no force or anti-force. It was just free creation from the heart. And you can only create from your heart when you are here. If you are swinging from one extreme to the other all of the time, you cannot be creative and you cannot create a better world. So the more people are balanced and the more people transcend their paradoxes, the better this world becomes. So that is the wisdom of today, and I'm really grateful that you listened to me, and I hope that this was valuable to you. I hope that you can use this knowledge for the advancement of other people's lives, and I hope it can be beneficial for your life as well. If you think that you are a worker of light, then spread your light, spread your love, and simply let's make this world a better place to live. It's simple as that.